What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, back to it with another answering your comments video. I know that I'm super far behind, but my commitment is to make sure that I'm getting to all of these for you, even if it is a little bit late. So let's go ahead and jump right in, and let's start with this one. This is the SPS to 5 cents can jumpstart the flywheel video. That's how far back we were. But from Vlad, saying the flywheel is nothing more than a fantasy in a feverish little minds of the team that created the Web3 Frankenstein's monster. They've done nothing since the get-go to protect the interests of early investors at the expense of anybody else unfortunate to get caught up in the mix. How about this post for mixed metaphors? They also protect themselves, of course. How about this post for mixed metaphors? I mean, look, I feel like I'm just going in circles here. I definitely agree with you that a lot of the things that the team has done has not worked. I don't know that I would go so far, to the point that other people make where it's intentional. And clearly, here's the thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Things have been drastically different from Matt, and I'll put that together hopefully in a separate video. But in the 9 months that Matt has been in this role, I feel like a lot of the attitude has changed, and I'm trying to compile all of the different things that he has changed his approach to. And whether it was Aggie before, that was, the one driving the ship, or, they were fighting for control of the steering wheel, whatever it is. Now, obviously, Matt has full control. And it's been interesting to see a lot of the change in attitude, not even attitude, but just change in overall perspective from the top down. Okay, so Ora Sanders says, can the team buy back from the secondary CL markets and put them back in the store with the actual method we have for Rebellion as we burn them daily? This will reduce packs circulating, and Rebellion sales will finally start to sell well. We need to buy probably 500,000 CL packs, and the price will finally rise. Yeah, so again, why would the team do this? I get it, but as it is, they're struggling to come up with money to pay their developers. Where are they going to come up with the money to buy back from the secondary market? And here's the thing. If they did buy back from the secondary market, are you going to do anything to give them money? Right? Like that's what I'm trying to get at here. Everybody is just looking for the asset prices to go up. Not everybody, but a lot of people are looking for the asset prices to go up just so they could probably sell, right? So at this point, I don't think it's in the team's best interest, even though I know this is what the community wants. So I don't see a reasonable way to get there. I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility or out of the realm of something that should even be expected, right? If a team is flush with cash, I mean, you see this with companies all the time, right? If they're flush with cash, then they do stock buybacks. But if they don't, right, and we're in a situation where they clearly aren't flush with cash, that is not what they should be doing if we're talking about the overall health of the game economy. All right, Secret Flesh, how can you compare a few old card prices soulbound cards with a million quantity? It's not a few old card prices. It's literally where the averages are sitting for cards that are out there that were previous reward cards. Here's the thing, if you want these Rebellion cards to be Rebellion reward cards or the Chaos Legion reward cards, if you want them to be as rare and as valuable, maybe rare is not the right word, but as valuable as the older cards, then you have to look at them through that lens and find a way to have it so that people value. And 17x for unlocking Soulbound. I think Matt in the town hall gave us like the 10 to 20x that he plans to do on a sliding scale over time. All right, so Supreme says the DAO needs to get up and get going. Let's go use that money that they're sitting on to hire people to get stuff done. The longer we wait, the more zombie this game is going to be. Get some devs in here right now. Do something, bro. They have all the ideas in the world. Let's implement something already. Well, I mean, I feel like people have tried. Shout out to DJ. He put together that proposal to try to get the DAO to fund the validator development. That got shut down, even though Matt was behind it. So I don't know. We'll have to see what kind of ideas come through. But it's interesting that at this point in time, very rarely there's no proposals in the mix right now. So it is what it is. All right, so Vlad says, what do bull runs have to do with the price of tea in China? We're all invested in a losing proposition, and the team can't dig its way out of this. Bull runs, what do bull runs have to do with the tea or the price of tea in China? I mean, I'm just going to go with your metaphor here. Here's the thing. Bull runs tend to make people very loose with their money and start to speculate on a lot of things. Also, bull runs would probably help a lot of the whales who are very supportive of this game find ways to take profits in other crypto that they have, other assets that they have, and then bring it in here. I mean, if you just go through, I know there's no map chat anymore, but if you just listen to a lot of the other OGs or people in the space that are buying up cards, I mean, just go on X, go on Discord, right? You'll see that people are buying. If you give them more money because a bull run is happening and they want to get more Splinterlands assets, and they have the money because Bitcoin goes up, Solana, ETH go up, right? Or we're just in a bull run overall, and they make money and they take those profits into Splinterlands. That does matter. So it's not directly related, maybe, but it is very tangentially related. All right, Compy says, what is the team doing to grow the game? Nothing. Nothing right now. I think if you're unfamiliar with where the team is going, they are trying to update and improve the player experience from the top down, including like a tutorial. So I would say that until that is done, they are not going to do anything to grow the game because, what they shared in the most recent town hall is that their conversion numbers are really low. So they need to get the conversion numbers up. And then my guess is that they're going to throw some gasoline on the fire with wherever they can get money to buy gasoline with. So, all right, Secret Flash says meant to go down, but 17x unlock for Soulbound is okay. I can buy max cards for that unlocking fee. Yeah, so here's the thing, Secret Flash. Why this is the big question with this Soulbound unlock. If you have the cards already, why would you need to unlock it? That's my question, right? So as a player, now as an investor, things get different. And yes, a lot of things for investors in this space are getting shut down. LPs are no longer as profitable, right? They took down the APRs on that. They're talking about removing vouchers from node licenses. Some LPs even just got completely cut off, right? So from an investment standpoint, yeah, some of these pathways are going to get shut down because, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe the team's going to make the argument that it leads to exploitation or it leads to a lot of sell pressure. But if you're a player, well, then you don't really care, right? Like at this point, I don't have any expectations to unlock my Soulbound cards unless I have a reason to. But I get it. I mean, I know where people are at. They want to get something for their time and attention. And unfortunately, SPS, which in theory, to me, is enough, right? Even at less than a penny, is enough to walk away with. Most people are just so far in the red that they want anything that they can get to sell and, break even. So I get it. I understand. So Mad G says, if SPS grows in price, rentals will also. I think the beauty of this game is not playing full sets, but finding best strategies to earn more with no meta, dirty, cheap cards. I think there will always be a subset of the player base that will look to take out more than they put in. And you're right, that is almost like a game within a game. And I think for the most part, you had that subset of players be the majority of players that came in during 2021. Whereas pre-2021, I think you had a lot of players that spent a lot of money in the game, didn't think much about it, and then got pleasantly surprised that asset prices just absolutely mooned. And so my guess is that if the team is successful in what they're trying to do, they're going to bring in more of those players, the latter than the former. And look to bring in people who like the game for the game itself, are willing to, throw down, whether it's buying assets or whether it is renting assets, right? And I think that there's a good, another thing that I want to talk about more is the scholarship model here. Just because it works so well with Axie, and I think it's something that could be very positive for Splinterlands too. But I'll keep that for a separate video. All right, so Mike says, what I have never understood is why do players rent their cards out so cheap? The best way to understand this game is to not expect anything in return. I agree with that sentence, but the problem is many people came in with a very different mindset. And I'm not even calling them out. I'm not even blaming them because that was just the mindset of play to earn at the time. Literally every game had people coming in with that mindset of trying to, what can I extract? How can I make money? How can I quit my job playing a video game? When really that's just not, it's not for everybody, right? Like, sure, you can make money playing video games, but you either need to be the best of the best, right? And you need to be winning esports tournaments left and right. Or the game has to be so popular and so successful as a Web3 model that they're pulling in money not from their player base, but from advertisers. Like, I genuinely think a Web3, I say this all the time, I think a Web3 version of Fortnite would work wonders, because Fortnite has so many different partnerships, so many different things. And it's just like, hey, all right, this movie's coming out. They want to do a promotion, right? Spider-Man comes in, give us I don't know, $1 million, right? And again, I don't know what the budgeting for that is, but let's just say like $1 million. What we're going to do is we're going to go take $1 million, US dollars, buy up our token with it, or we'll tell you to buy up, $1 million worth of our token, give it to us. We take a fee, and by we, I'm talking about like, somebody in that position. We take maybe a 20% cut for operating costs, and then 80% goes out as play to earn rewards. Now, all of a sudden, then your player base actually enjoys playing the game. They don't have to put too much in, and everything is being subsidized because it's a different form of advertising. It's taking the Web 2 advertising model and just Web 3ifying it, if that makes sense. But we haven't seen a company do that yet, and I don't know that there's a company at scale that can, although, I am looking at the top, like Illuvium, Parallel, the people that have the connections and potential partnerships. So maybe if we see that, then we will, that could be what ends up happening in this next bull run or the bull run after, or whatever the case is. Because I think Web3 gaming and owning assets and being able to earn in-game, I don't think that's going away. I think the concept is here. It's just the sustainable model has not been found because we're just too early to it. All right, Philosopher says, SPS is going the wrong way. How will it go up while players have fled and all game metrics are down? Do you still take money from Splinterlands? Is that why you're so bullish and misleading many people? If you do take money, don't you have to disclose that? Look, I've talked about this before. I am a contractor for the team. I used to make music for them. I haven't had a contract with them since the middle of last year. I haven't done any work for them since the middle of last year. This whole channel is something completely separate. So, I'm disclosing it. Again, if people want to come after me because they think that I'm like being bullish and misleading, I'm never telling people to go and buy up a bunch of assets. I like playing the game. I think it's interesting. I think the game economy is fascinating. So if you're going to bark up this tree, I have nothing to hide, right? Like I'm not even bullish. I'm not even bullish. I'm literally just making content about a game that I like, which I have said many times may not make it. And has squandered the lead that it had coming out of the last bull run. So I have no idea what happens, but that's just where I'm at. I'm literally in the same boat as you guys. I have no idea where this thing plays out. I get my information from the town halls. All right, so International Travel Channel says another one. Thank you so much for the comment. New Age says free markets should always rule, no matter the pain or glory. Interesting. So that was when I was saying, should Splinterlands have should the Splinterlands market have rent control, which I think that passed. In fact, now my curiosity is piqued. So forgive me, I'm looking at this off screen, but I'm just curious to see if that proposal to increase the minimum. All right, my computer's just being super slow, so never mind. But there was a proposal to increase the minimum rental from 0.1 DEC to 1 DEC, which, I get it, that increased the cost 10x for a lot of folks, but from a dollar perspective, it goes from 1/100th of a penny to 1/10 of a penny. And a lot of stuff is renting for that anyway. All right, so Wolfshire says, I like how you think 200K SPS rented is enough for high-level earnings. I have 260K SPS with rentals, and playing in Champ 3 is the 10X multiplier. Probably need closer to like 600K SPS to play at higher ratings to get max rewards. You know what's interesting? So obviously this comment came out a couple weeks ago, and I just put out the video about the 200K. The thing is, from an egalitarian perspective, you are still ahead of everybody else right now. If there's 7,500 daily active accounts, that comes out to 200,000 SPS if every player wanted to have the same amount. We were all trying to get as much as we could. So you're actually ahead of the curve here. And this 10x multiplier, I think, is something that is going to be, it's going to not matter as much to newer players. So when they come in, they're going to look at that and say, well, I want to, if I have 50K, that's enough, or 20K, if that's enough. And again, a lot of that's going to depend on how much, what their earning potential is like. For us, we've just collected so much because we've been here through the bear market. And so therefore we're looking at that, and obviously we're sad that, the value of the stack, even though the quantity of the stack has gotten bigger, the value has gone down dramatically. But looking at this through the lens of a newer player, I don't think that they're going to have that same kind of bias that we do. All right, so Gathering the Magic says, I would go even further and the minimum rental price to 10 DEC, which is only 1 penny, if you want cards to have some value. Yeah, I mean, that's a little too far for me, honestly. I think that there needs to be, I don't want to say a floor, but just from a technical perspective, like we can't have this go to, 10 decimal places. So I was okay with us taking things up so that we're not doing fractional DEC, but going to 10 DEC would, I think, be a little extreme. Okay, so Firebolt says, well. Once again, we ask ourselves, do we really need a rental market? I think we do. I don't know why we wouldn't. Lord Kager says, hope you're right. This is on the video I was saying this bull run will be different. Lord Kager also saying about that proposal. This is the rental one. I don't like it. Again, a proposal that's anti-newcomers and anti-free market competition. There'll be tons of cards for rent at 1 DEC, so a player that puts a card for rent might never ever rent it due to a gigantic line of cards at the same price, absurd price. Also, the 0.1 DEC rental is attractive to possible newcomers, and it's what made it possible for me to start playing back in July of 2021. Leave the rental market be and try to make it stronger. Okay, so I have a thought for you here. What did I just click? All right, I have just a little thought experiment, food for thought. Let's say you have a card and you want to rent it out. Okay. So you put it for 0.1 DEC. You're talking about not having any kind of thing on the marketplace, right? So you're going to put it for 0.1 DEC. Let's say there were no rules. And let's say this bot farm that had 500,000 copies of this card listed it for less than 0.1. You're never renting that card out. You get what I'm saying? Like for you as the card lord, as the renter, as the renter, you're with the amount of demand that's in there, it's never, that's never going to happen. It's never going to benefit you, in my opinion. Again, in this example, right? On the flip side, you're talking about for new players coming in. I get it. Yeah, wanting to come in and being able to rent for super cheap is cool, but keep in mind, as a new player, okay, if the minimum, we're just talking about the minimum. Right, we're not talking about getting like a max level card. None of those go for 0.1 DEC. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of them do, especially like the reward cards. But I mean, this is what we're talking about here. You're talking about, I don't know. Let's say somebody wants to rent 100 cards, right? And we're talking about bringing the minimum from 0.1 DEC to 1 DEC. 100 cards. If I'm doing my math, or I don't have my calculator with me. Or actually, let's pull it up. Sorry, you won't be able to hear. 100 cards times 0.0001, right? I mean, somebody would be able to then rent 100 cards for 1 cent versus 10 cents. Now, here's the thing. For a regular human person that's coming in to check out a game, would they look at that 1 cent versus 10 cents as a huge deal? I don't think so, right? For me, that's a difference between a penny and a dime. And again, I'm not trying to assume anybody's position, but who this does go after, and this is what the proposal is trying to go after, is if I'm setting up 500,000 bot accounts and now I have to pay 10 cents for each bot account rather than 1 cent, that becomes a problem for me as a bot farm. You get what I'm saying? For the individual player, we're talking about if they want to rent 100 cards at the minimum, it goes from 1 cent to 10 cents. Like, again, I know it's a 10x, but we're talking in relative terms here, not absolute terms, right? This matters for those who are doing things at scale, and that's exactly what we're trying to shut down. We want individual players coming in trying to play. Hopefully that made sense. All right, so vote no. Super proposal says sorry I smurf. So Tail says it honestly makes sense. We have an oversupply of cards. This helps bring the rental market to a better place for the overall Splinterlands economy. It is a lever that should be used to ease downward price pressure on card, asset, and SPS. You can think of it as similar to government setting federal interest rates. Ooh, a lot of people are not going to like that. And before, like here's the thing. I am in favor of it. I voted for it. This is not a hill I'm going to die on. If it failed, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I can understand the arguments for it. I can actually understand the arguments against it. And even if it's just a small net, right? Small net positive of doing it, that's where I'm leaning towards. All right, so Pomp says rentals should not be based on time. They should be based on battles. You can rent a card for X battles with a seasonal time limit. If you consume your battles, you can rent some more. If you don't consume your battles, contracts expires at season. That would be interesting. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about the Wild Season Pass being not time-based or season-based, but battle-based. I think that would just require too much of a change to the code and too much of a change to how things have operated. Now, that being said, Matt is pretty good in the sense of, or Matt has a good take on like, we shouldn't just do things because that's how they've always been done. We should explore new things. So it's a good idea. Or sorry, I don't want to say it's a good idea because I haven't thought through all the implications. I think it's an interesting idea. But I think it's just too far out of the scope of what the team is trying to accomplish right now. All right, so Vlogging says, selling for what exactly? To hodl inflating USDC, and why 5K when based on history, it's likely to begin... it's likely just the beginning of the bull rally. The proposal makes zero sense to me unless it's paying for salaries and utilities. I don't remember what ETH's all-time high was. I don't think it hit 5K last time. But keep in mind, 5K is the minimum. As long as it is above 5K, they are saying to sell. So yes, you're right. It's the beginning of the bull rally, but keep in mind, none of this stuff is guaranteed. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. So at some point, I think ETH is going to fail, right? Sorry, but it's like at this point, I don't mind them taking profits. If we hit a new all-time high, I think that there should be profit taking. And what's great is that it's going to sell. I forgot what the details were, but we're going to take profit every so often, whether ETH is right above 5K or it gets to 20K or whatever it is, right? So I don't know. That's just my thought. Mondroid says, this has been needed for a long time. It could probably be even larger. It's simply a bad idea to let people extract from the ecosystem for 0.1 DEC a card. That is basically nothing and unsustainable. True. See, the other thing about this too is that for the bots renting out tons of cards, or the bot farms renting out tons of cards that they own, now they, well, actually, I take that back. It's profitable for everybody, right? It's because it's the same fee required. It's still gonna be 1 DEC to list, so never mind. So Firebolt says our Guild Fire team supports this proposal. Got to lock in an interest on that USDC stable coin. I wonder, do they? I don't know that we can. How would you even lock that in on DeFi? I'm not familiar with a lot of the protocols on ETH, but I'm sure there's something out there. International Travel Channel. Thank you for the comment. Jason says, SPS governance proposal, give blockchain backer $1,000 to give us bespoke exit strategy for ETH based on our risk appetite. This 5K target looks totally arbitrary. I don't disagree. I think it is arbitrary. I think it's only based on the fact that 5K would represent a new all-time high. Sorry, Smurf says, vote no. I will sell ETH only if it gets to 8,000. Selling for less is just giving money away. If the DAO needs some money to help the team develop validator nodes, pay some salary, then okay. Sell a few ETH at 5K. Okay, then hold all the ETH left until 8K, 10K, 15K. This bull run, 5K is too low, so sell at 5K, only a few needed. You know what? Here's the thing, though. People said we were going to get to 10K ETH last bull cycle. Some people even thought we were going to get to 20K. So what if we get to 7K this cycle and we don't sell anything based on the parameters that you put here, and the DAO goes completely broke because we enter into another multi-year bear market? Again, just a thought. So IGN Ryan says, Ryan 600, what's going on? It would be interesting to have a DAO proposal. Creators come on the channel and you can ask them questions from the audience community and they can explain, hey, if you are putting proposals together, for anybody that thinks like there's any rules around this channel is very informal. So Ryan, thank you for bringing this up. If you guys want to come on and chat, I mean, I've had people on before. So let me know. And as long as the scheduling works out, happy to chat through it, especially if you are putting together some kind of proposal and you want to speak to it in a longer format, longer kind of like audio form, rather than just typing it out on a Hive post. So yes, Ryan, I agree. I'm open to that. I would love those conversations, and yeah, so you are all welcome as long as it's within reason. We're talking about Splinterlands or actually any game. So Avox says, I don't think the game should focus so much on the economy, and if people were profiting before with 0.1 DEC and can't with 1 DEC, they won't suddenly play at a loss. I think the floor should be 1,000 DEC. Okay, that's a little too crazy for me. Better yet, make it 10,000. Oh, okay. I think you are trolling. Better yet, make it 10,000 DEC per card. Get some money flowing. Nothing go wrong. Okay, funny. Let's see. Airbox also says, to what is Hive worth if the DAO doesn't even believe in HBD, which gives a 20% interest rate? Let's say Hive will go to zero, just as Luna and UST did. This may be true, but then what happens to Splinterlands, which is so heavily reliant on the chain? If there's some credible staking proposals for 20% APR USDC, please let me know. Yeah, I mean, look, the game, as difficult and crazy and chaotic as it would be, the game runs on its own servers, and it could, with a lot of heavy lifting, be migrated to another chain. I think that, the team obviously has some affinity towards Hive. They have history with Hive. And so therefore that's why we're staying, because they just don't have the resources. But here's the thing. If Hive were to fail, I think that we would have to go somewhere else, as long as the team could, make that happen. And who knows, if that were to happen, maybe you'd have some suitors coming in, right? A lot of these other chains have DAOs or VCs that will come in and try to get, games onto their platforms. So that being said, I own like 60 HBD. It's not much. I think the interest rate is interesting. Oh, that was terrible. I think the interest rate is a little terrifying given what happened to Terra Luna. I know that there are some safeguards in place and some protection, but Hive is just too unproven of a chain. The same thing that makes me nervous is the same thing that makes me confident, right? It's a weird dichotomy that I'm going through with like the HBD interest rate. The network is so small, it's so untested, and we don't know, if Hive is going to make it long term, right? There's just a lot of other chains with way more utility and branding and all that stuff. So I don't know if Hive will survive. I mean, it probably will, but it'll just be, it'll just be a dying chain until it is maybe a dead chain. On the flip side, we are not big enough for, like, if we were to get big enough, somebody could attack us, right? And we're not at this point in time, which means you might be able to get away with that 20% interest rate. So it's like either on the downward side, it's like, well, this chain might just die. On the upward side, like on the confidence side, it's like, well, nobody's going to attack this the way that they attacked Terra Luna. Like, there's no reason to. This isn't like changing things around. Obviously it's an algorithmic stablecoin, but it's not. It doesn't have anywhere near the TVL or the interest that Terra Luna did. And so I would think that one vote of confidence, and this is not financial advice, but one vote of confidence would be that you'd be able to sneak by because there's just not a lot of volume here, right? Even if you're to throw like a couple thousand or tens of thousands of dollars into it. And I know people have a lot, some accounts have a lot of money sitting in HBD. It's just going to fly under the radar. So nobody's going to attack it, and it's going to be not interesting enough or like just interesting enough to survive where you can benefit. But, for me, I don't know. I get nervous with high APRs because you really need to consider the risks. All right, let's see. How far are we? Yeah, we're still 2 weeks behind. Okay. How are we doing on time here? We're already at 30 minutes. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead. Well, let's just do one more to close out the video, and then I will knock out more of these over the next couple of days. So Christopher says, been asking for this for a while. Prices on rental market have nothing to do with the value of the cards in person's deck and everything to do with supplier. Right now, for $1, you can rent a card for 27 years. If anyone honestly believes this game needs prices that low to survive, I don't know why they're here. Fair point. That puts a good capper on it. We'll save Christopher's next comment for the next video. But that is all I have for you guys in this one. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.